Welcome back to Life is Atrocious! Atrocious!
So, the running theme seems to be that these writers are arguably ambitious, and maybe for the time when they first made this game, they were ambitious. But man, the execution leaves a lot to be desired.
Stop being ambitious. You're not talented enough to pull that off.
Again, I am wondering if, the reason why this game was lauded back in the day was because, to be fair, maybe not a lot of games went into subject matter this serious, or at least not as commonly. So maybe for the time, just so much as breaching that ground was kind of exemplary. The problem was that as soon as, more media and games started going into that rank, people started to realize, this is kind of like bare minimum at best and absolute trash at worst.
That happened with some of the subjects tackled in Steven Universe as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not everything, but there is some stuff in there
like
that's
I said,
incredibly problematic.
Like I said 2 parts ago, this kind of thing, we're not saying that this kind of thing cannot be pulled off. It can be pulled off, you just need but if you're going to try to attempt something like this, you better have some amazing fucking writing. Again, The World Ends With You, for reasons that I can't explain, does something in its second day that most writers wouldn't dare attempt because they're afraid that they'll get the audience to completely be repulsed by their protagonist. But again, with the correct writing and the correct context and the correct circumstances, you can pull something like this off. These writers, on the other hand, they don't have the talent to pull that off. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, some of my favorite characters are pretty awful people, but it's like the story gives them the leverage to be awful, but still intriguing.
Here's the thing, Shirai. Neku is not awful. It's not meant to be necessarily a horrible person. It's more so that he does a horrible thing. Now, whether or not, obviously it's not an exact science. You can still have people who still can't get over it, even when they think about the context and why it happens. But again, we can talk about that when we actually get to that game. The point is,
going back to other factors.
Yeah, go on. Go on.
Going back to other factors, though, like I mentioned, I feel like maybe, for the sake of argument, let's say that for the time this game came out, this was just arguably some of the best takes on how to handle this subject matter. Because you know what? Okay, to be fair, you could, and mind you, this would take some very high debating skills, but you could, in a sense, weave this in a way where it is about a very tough decisions, which will culminate with the ultimate decision in the finale here and there. And I guess, to be fair, it's not like the game absolutely forces Max to have to euthanize Chloe.
Yeah, you can refuse her. The problem is if you refuse her, she gets angry at you.
So close, yet so
although, to be fair, I don't think that even really affects, her affections towards you, because, deleted timeline anyway.
No, that's just, okay, the game treats it as an important choice because they do the whole, stop the music and the whole filters and the whole distortion thing. So the game claims that it's an important choice, but how would it be? We just erase that timeline. How would that even work?
Exactly. Let me, okay.
We'll have to do this on our own.
A lot of this game, it is bad, but you could maybe weave it in a way where you can see this as about of hard choices here and there. The problem is seriously that the game does want you to care about Chloe. That's the main problem. Here's the thing. You can say what you will about certain characters in media here, but what can help that character is whether or not the story forces you to like said character. Look at Godo from Ace Attorney 3. Incredibly flawed character here and there. However, when you do look on deeper inspection, while he seems to be a bad prosecutor, he's arguably only lost to Phoenix, which is pretty much the case with all other prosecutors. If we judge prosecutors based off of just the trials they've had against Phoenix, we'd think they were all terrible despite their reputations. What helps Godo as a character in the end is this. The game acknowledges he has done messed up stuff. Whether or not it's a redemption on his part or him finally getting karma in the end is up to you, the player, to decide. No. It never forces you to like him. I can assure you, Godo would not have nearly as much fans if the game absolutely said, "Oh no, he was absolutely totally all a good guy here." Like, you know, even despite some of the messed up stuff he did, you should like him regardless. Like, no, the game does not go that route because it knows how problematic that would be. If you absolutely want us to like a character and have the story say, no, you're supposed to see this character as a good person, there needs to be hidden depths which Chloe just does not have.
I mean, honestly, I thought Godo was just a petty twat for most of the game.
And again, you are perfectly free to feel that. Like, again, the game is never trying to convince you that he is necessarily a good person. Like, you can see him as a good person who just does bad stuff, or a guy really messed up who did do some good stuff, did end up helping save Maya, but, you know, other messed up stuff happened. Hey, David.
Is he been standing there all this time?
You want this back, Max.
I don't know.
You broke up my family. I salute you.
David, I didn't try to hurt you. Ever. But I won't let anybody hurt Chloe.
No one hurts no one hurts my abusive girlfriend. She may be abusive, but she's mine.
Careful with her.
But if Chloe asked me to kill her...
I can fix her.
But if Chloe... Nobody can hurt Chloe unless she asks me to kill her, in which case I will hurt her.
You know, Max. You see, that's the thing, Shirai. Even if you go for the Warren thing, she still does all this shit for Chloe, and she still says most of these lines anyway. So, like, even if you try to make it so that she loves Warren, she still cares a lot more about Chloe than she does Warren.
Do you still have to? Because I'm guessing it's the end of the chapter. I'm guessing you still have to go to the alternate timeline where Chloe is disabled. Like,
yes.
So the game like makes you do all this crap anyway.
Yep.
And very quickly. Oh, sorry.
For a game that's all about time travel, the game has a very sick sense of humor with your choices actually mattering at certain points. Now, granted, sometimes they do matter more than others, but at other times we do have that classic bout of, it's not really that different.
Yeah, I heard if there's anything Life is Strange 2 improves on, it's that.
The graphics?
No. Choices actually matter.
Oh, okay. Yes, I will. For as much as I don't want to, yes, I will give that game credit. Yes, it does do a better job of making the choices have more consequences. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Shirai, go ahead.
Yes. Oh yeah, I was just going to quickly say the thing about Godo is the game actually presents him pretty, like, the game takes a pretty neutral stance on him in that they present him as is, and it's up to you to judge the character. He's awful, and we all acknowledge him as pretty awful. Yeah, the reason because I remember being quite annoyed during the actual playthrough when I was talking about Godo specifically after finding out everything about him is like a lot of the expectations came from the fan base because people love this guy, and I don't mean in a sense that awful person but still intriguing. I mean people are all Godo did nothing wrong kind of thing, and it's like you guys just like a good theme song, don't you? That's what this is, isn't it?
I mean, if we judge characters based on how cool their theme song is, then...
It's like you're all just a bunch of simps, I don't trust you.
Okay.
The simps for theme song.
Now, to be fair, I will give the fans of Godo credit. It is thankfully not that shell. Yes. Plenty of people have given very good analyses on why they do find him a good character. But again, he is definitely a character who gets a lot of different opinions here and there. Though, yeah, he is insanely popular.
All right.
I do definitely attribute... Yes, Pedro?
Go ahead and finish.
I do definitely attribute that to him having a relatively good tragic backstory and getting to get a good glimpse of what he was like before Dahlia screwed stuff up because that do be how Dahlia rolls, essentially. Like, no, you can get how he was better, and he does incorporate that by essentially being kind of a twisted mirror of how Phoenix operates, albeit just as a prosecutor in that regard here and there.
Okay.
Now is not the time for me to go all essay mode on Ace Attorney, even though I'd rather be talking about Ace Attorney instead of this. I'll just say this. Unless your name is Miles Edgeworth or Simon Blackwell, no, seriously, kudos to Yamazaki for making another universally beloved prosecutor. Almost every main prosecutor has had kind of split reactions.
Excuse
among the fan base.
Excuse me. You're not supposed to like anything Yamazaki does because only Takumi knows how to do good things. Takumi is perfect and never does anything wrong. Sorry, guys. I just like making fun of the more extreme Takumi purists. So.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
some of them are like just nasty. Like
Yeah.
not even
Definitely.
critical. Like I've seen some of them like just
Yeah.
nasty.
That's why I like to make fun of them because they deserve it. Go on.
Let me put it like this. I absolutely get why Yamazaki has a bit of a split reaction here and there. I do find Takumi the better Ace Attorney writer. That said, I will say this. Yamazaki has shown that he was probably the best man to take over from Takumi for the time being. What he may lack in some story writing components, he does excel in others. Takumi may be the guy who's got all the good balance and everything, but Yamazaki's no slouch himself. Like I said, he made Simon flipping Black Will. Like, even the Takumi purists like Simon flipping Black Will. That's just how good Simon flipping Black Will is.
Not to mention, remember, he was given the reins after Apollo Justice, so he had a lot of trash to clean. So.
Okay.
Also,
To be
she
fair-
actually apologized for that, like genuinely.
Kudos, yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to
I guess-
get this back into the playthrough exactly for that reason. Okay, to recap what's been happening. Basically, we broke a locker of David's, and we found coordinates that David has noted about the various places that Nathan has been and all that stuff. So we're going to try our best to find proof and evidence that Nathan did indeed dose Kate in that party. Yes, to note what Shirai just said, yes. You see what I mean, Shirai? See, yes, there are times where the game does indeed acknowledge Chloe's awfulness and has her apologize like we just saw. Problem is, as you just look at this, it was just a small little moment that just gets washed away in the grand scheme of things, if you ask me, because, okay, so now she apologized. Okay, it was a very small, quick and you'll blink and you'll miss it apology. It really doesn't, it's too little too late by this point, you know?
See, here's the thing.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
See, I resonate more with moments like this. Like, not just for the sake that, oh, it's not Chloe, but automatically better, but no, seriously, this scene is written way better than almost any scene having to do with Chloe. Like, I don't know why, but it feels like Chloe scenes, save for the majority of the scenes in the alternate timeline until we get all kill me please, they feel like they flow better. Chloe's conversations always feel
like Jova said,
staged in a sense. And yes, before anyone says it, yes, I know actors and all, but no, seriously, Chloe's conversations with Max do not always feel like they flow genuinely. I don't know. It's like if the game is trying to realize maybe these two aren't right for each other, or maybe there's a problem with Chloe, even in the very writing structure. Granted, maybe I'm looking too deep into things, but it does not help that Chloe is by no means a delight to be around.
Look at that! Even Victoria sent a get better note that sounded genuine according to Kate. So there's that.
Again, hidden.
I was gonna give my thing on the Ace Attorney thing, but I'll wait till there's another lull in the action.
It is so good to hang out with you again.
Again, though, hidden depths with Victoria as well. Now, granted, I get it. We're focusing a lot on Chloe, so maybe not so much hidden depths, but like I've mentioned, it's annoying that they go on and on about how despite Chloe being, well, as we see, terrible, we should care for her still and try and help her. So, my question, why can't we do like Undertale and have the chance to try and help everyone that we can out?
Yeah.
No, seriously, one of the great things about Undertale is, well, if you choose to be nice over naughty, you do legit help each character be better people overall in the course of things through multiple methods and methodologies.
Yeah,
there.
like Jova said, this
And
game
mind
would be...
you, Undertale was an indie game made by just one guy. Granted, I know, much lower production values there. However, the writing is still way better in Undertale than it is in this game.
That's because Toby can actually write. But, yeah, like Jova said, yeah, this game would be a lot better if they just cut Chloe entirely and just have Max be this time-traveling, you know, person who uses her powers to help various people in need, like Kate, like Dana, like Taylor. That would be a lot. Seriously, that entire thing would make this game a lot better, and just have the game be this case of the month type of structure. You know,
you don't even have to cut out Chloe. You can keep her if you want. But at the very least, we wouldn't have this hypocrisy of only helping Chloe to this extent instead of everyone else.
Yeah.
That would be a lot more interesting, actually, because or also like just picking and choosing who you want to, you know,
Thanks for taking care of my
get to know better and things. Like,
And like I mentioned, for all we know, Nathan may have some issues, and that's why he is the way he is.
he clearly has some issues. His behavior is very erratic. Like, not even typical aggressive bully kind of way. Like, I don't know what he's going through, but he's definitely got something going on.
But not for Nathan. He is the cartoonish bad guy of the game for pretty much the majority of the plot, if not all of it.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of Kate's storyline. We will not see her for the rest of the game. In fact,
Sucks.
in fact, Shirai, if you for obvious reasons, if she does indeed kill herself, obviously this scene is skipped entirely. So, her story can end either at the end of episode 2 or here, basically. But Shirai, we have more pressing matters, like, you know, Chloe.
And then, you know, again, did the game just forget that there's the whole Arcadia Bay is supposed to get destroyed thing? Like, Max seems to show no urgency towards the fact that she was worried about that. Like, remember how worried she was in episode 1 about Arcadia Bay supposedly being destroyed?
Let me try my best impression. Oh yeah, that's right. There's a tornado coming to destroy Arcadia Bay. But what's happening with Chloe?
So we're focusing back on Chloe now, are we? Well, I said I wanted to get to when there was a lot of the action. So,
in actual files here.
it's alright.
Go on,
wait, hold on. This bit's actually important.
Oh yeah, well, kind of, sure.
I know, lame as it sounds. Life has
It's just a complaining about school. How's that important?
Trust me, this is actually going to go somewhere dialogue-wise.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm going to announce the winner of the Everyday Heroes contest tonight at the party, so I hope you'll be there to celebrate, even though I'm sorry you didn't enter a photo. I understand your reasons. You can't force an artist to work.
Remember that line for later.
Yeah, keep that in mind for later.
Believe it or not, this is actually kind of a fair point of foreshadowing? Question mark?
It is a bit, yeah.
Get in the habit of putting your work out there.
Thanks, Mr. Jefferson.
Okay, point taken. Go ahead, Dibs.
Me too. I'll be Max's date. You better dance with us.
To me,
Nobody should have to see
if
me
I'm
dance,
comparing
you don't wanna watch the old hipster
two
trying to
head
keep up with the
creatives
kids.
of a franchise
Have
together,
some pride.
I like to
You see,
consider their biggest pro and their biggest con.
Hot for tea.
Takumi, I think, is an all-round. I think Takumi is all around a better storyteller
Shut up.
than Yamazaki. As in, he's better at making like games that cases and games that feel individual but still come up to as a whole all around. His negatives are that those times where he fucks up it's massive. Remember, this is a guy who in the same game made in the second game made case 3 and case 4 one after the other.
Yep.
You want to know what's ironic, Dwibs? For as much as we over in the West hate Turnabout Big Top, Turnabout Big Top's actually one of the most popular cases over in Japan, so depending on who you ask, that was technically a success. However, you do have a good point that while Takumi is overall the better writer, when he does mess up, it is notable. However, one thing I do notice is that in a lot of his screw-ups, there often is some strenuous circumstances involved. Like, again, with Justice for All, he had to make that game in, like, God, less than a year. He barely even got a vacation after he finished the first Ace Attorney game. With Ace Attorney 3, thankfully, he got more time. Then comes the whole deal with Ace Attorney 4, where, the circumstances under which that game was made, and mind you, he wasn't even completely in charge of that game, so stuff happened, and he was kind of forced to write stuff here and there that way. Doesn't excuse everything, but it does explain a lot of the problems with that, namely how Phoenix gets shoehorned in. And then there's the bit with the crossover, where, there's the whole bit with Inafune leaving, that being strenuous. Oh, mind you, that ending will get its roasting from me still.
As for Yamazaki, his biggest strength is his own characters, the ones he makes from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all very fun, and they aren't just Takumi clones. They're all pretty unique in their own way. And for the most part, they're pretty good, and they're pretty fun to watch.
Like I said, in my opinion, he did a really good job in salvaging Apollo's character after the mess he was left in 4. So
I feel like he did a good job with Apollo in Ace Attorney 5.
And 6, I'll argue.
His biggest con is that I'm not saying Takumi is entirely innocent of this himself, but Yamazaki and his tendency to flanderize older characters.
Yeah.
It's definitely most apparent in Ace Attorney Investigations 1. A bit in Ace Attorney Investigations 2, but he thankfully got much better.
Have you seen him around?
And then he kind of had that problem again with Ace Attorney 5. As for Ace Attorney 6, some people are split on Blair in the DLC case. I will say this, Yamazaki, if there's one thing Yamazaki definitely excels at, it is spectacle. Like, he definitely knows how to get you interested at first.
Oh no, definitely. Like I said, cases 3 and 5 of that game are absolutely case 3 in particular. Like
Of which game?
Yeah, basically, case 3 of 6 is the case where Maya gets herself, this is not a spoiler. I mean, this happens all the time, right?
Okay.
She gets herself arrested.
I will say this: case 3 of 6 is definitely my favorite case of that game, for several reasons. Which is then followed up by case 4 of 6.
Oh, trust me, I hate case 4 too. But fortunately, 5 gets things back on track.
Welcome back, Maya. In the big house you go.
So, Shuri, I'm curious.
Yes, because I want Nathan Preston.
Have you heard about the Clussy Fever meme?
Is that the clown girl people are simping over?
Yes, you have case 4 of Ace Attorney 6 to thank for that character, who is basically the love child of April May and Mo the Clown.
Basically.
Yeah, I kind of gathered.
Alright, Alright, and then next time now that we're in the boys' dorm, we're going to try our best to get some evidence from Nathan's room. Again, more breaking and entering. How fun.
Yay!
Again, you see, it's terrible when Nathan does it, but it's just fine when we do it.
But Nathan is really, really mean, though.
Also, didn't he get expelled? So wouldn't he have taken his stuff out? Or was he expelled?
He was suspended, not expelled.
No. But that's the thing. When we talk to him in the diner, he complains about getting expelled.
Well, that's people always do that. They always exaggerate stuff.
Yeah, alright.
Like, again, is that about him exaggerating, or is it the writers being inconsistent?
Well, remember, just here in the courtyard, when Max was talking to that other girl, they did say suspended specifically, so I think he's, over-exaggerating, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Alright, tune in for the next part.
I guess it's just in this game, I can't tell.
Alright, see you for the next part, everybody.
See ya.